And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Most Important Conversations Meditations. We host these meditations Monday through Friday. The overarching theme of our meditations is liberation. And good morning, everybody, specifically in the area of liberating yourself from your conditioning, from the conditioning from your friends, family, and community that taught you who to be, why to be, and how to be, and has led to you living someone else's life, because that was their expectations, not yours, and you were conditioned to meet them. You were conditioned to be a people pleaser, to not disappoint them. And before each meditation, we have a short talk, and the content of that talk is derived from our core liberation and creativity program called Whole Life Architecture. Whole Life Architecture is a creative container where participants in a live workshop format each week are learning to stand in their power as a creator of their own life, not looking outside of themselves for more conditioning about who they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to do in each situation of their life, but rather being able to generate it for themselves and to create a life by design as opposed to merely tolerating a life by default. If that interests you, and we hope and believe it does, please go and check out Whole Life Architecture at TMICglobal.com. We've been speaking about spontaneity this week and the importance of spontaneity if we are going to truly be powerful creators of our own life. And we've been talking about how spontaneity is the manifestation of the unknown showing up in time. That we have the best laid plans of mice and men, so to speak. We have these goals. We have these objectives that we set for ourselves. And we end up contorting ourselves, twisting ourselves, bending ourselves to meet these goals and these objectives. And in the process of exhausting ourselves and expending all this energy to bend our integrity, to bend our, by that we mean workability, to bend our life force energy in the direction of some external objective, we're often surprised with the spontaneous bursting right through the middle of our objective and disrupting it. We didn't plan for that. We didn't think that would happen. What's our contingency plan? You hear all of these kinds of words, whether it's in corporations or governments or even just in individual lives. We do everything we can to squash the unknown of spontaneity from disrupting our best laid plans. And yet it never fails that the spontaneous continues to happen. Because life is not fixed. Life is not a conditioned container that is immovable. Life is in flow. Life is chaos. Life is creative. And we are part of that very life world, that very life force energy. We are creators. We were born to be creators. When we were young, no one had to teach us how to play, how to imagine, how to invent, how to fantasize, how to envision. We just did it. We were natural creators. We were taught on the other hand, to be conditioned consumers of life, to look outside of ourselves, to other people, other circumstances, for who we should be. And one thing that we were also taught is that you can control all the variables of life if you plan well enough, if you strategize well enough, and that is not true. I remind everybody about all of the people who said to investors in 2019, all the entrepreneurs who sat in front of investors and promised them that by 2022 they would have their money back. And then a global pandemic spontaneously erupted. All the plans, all the strategizing that were promised by those individuals in 2019 were disrupted. Out the window. Or what about Lehman Brothers? In 2007, do you think they reported to their board that in 2008 they were going to file for bankruptcy? We play this game with ourselves that we believe we can control all of the variables of life, when in reality, we control none of them. The only thing we control in our life is our own response to what shows up in life. And the more we learn to embrace spontaneity, the more we learn to flow and respond to what shows up in life, the less we get taken out, the less anxiety we have, the less frustration we have, the less angst we have. Because all of these things, frustration, anxiety, angst, they're all related to things going in ways other than we had planned, thought, predicted, strategized for. All the ways that we had set a goal in order for us to accomplish it. And yes, it got derailed. Think about all of the things in your life that you get upset about, all of the frustration, the anxiety. It all comes down to your inability to control things. And it doesn't matter how hard you try, how much time you put in, how much money you spend, you cannot control the variables of this world. I'm reminded tragically of the death of Steve Jobs, who had enormous wealth and still ended up dying of pancreatic cancer. He couldn't control the variables of his own body. And yet we think we can control the variables of other bodies, of other beings on the planet, of other systems like weather. We don't control anything. So let's stop playing the game of trying to pretend we can control things, which is all an effort to avoid the spontaneous and to create conditions of predictability, and instead strengthen ourselves to learn to be in flow in the midst of the spontaneous. Learn to be creative, adaptive, able to respond to what shows up moment by moment. This doesn't mean to not have a preference or a direction or a vision for what you would like to accomplish, for what you would like to create. We do need to know what it is that we are trying to create in our life. But we can have a preference without being so fixed in our thinking as to not allow other opportunities, other possibilities to emerge. We can learn to dance with life as opposed to being so robotic with our life. And all of this begins with reorienting ourselves to spontaneity. Where are you rejecting spontaneity in your life? Where are you trying to control the spontaneity in your life? Where are you in a fixed state as opposed to being able to be in a flow state? We talk about flow states. Everyone loves them. We love the experience of them. Now we're trying to crack the code and develop a method about flow states. There's books written about how to get into a flow state. And see, as soon as we do that, we contort and constrain everything. We move from a flow state to a fixed state. We become fixed on how to get into a flow state. It's like the moment we try to contain spontaneity, serendipity, emergence, the natural flow and phenomenon of this life world, this experience, the moment we try to contain it, we kill it. There's a great book that I encourage everyone to read by an author by the name of Hartmut Rusa called The Uncontrollability of the World. And in it, he articulates the impossibility of having control over anything except your own response. That self-trust to know that whatever emerges, whenever it emerges, you know you are creative enough to be able to create a path forward and to respond according to what the situation requires in the moment. Which is more accurate, by the way, than having these contingency plans, which at best may help us manage a spontaneous event 60 to 80%, but not 100%. And because we're trapped in the rules of our contingency planning, there's no creative ability to respond different or otherwise than the plan to actually get a better outcome. This is how we trap ourselves as human beings. And we do it at an organizational level, and we also do it at an individual level. How are you trapping yourself today? Where do you have anxiety, stress? And look under that. What are you trying to control? What are you unwilling to just let go of? What are you unwilling to just let spontaneity and flow happen? Where are you squeezing the life out of life? Consider that this morning as we move into our Watcher Observer meditation. This is a practice that we do 2 to 3 times a week in between our guided neurosculpting meditations. It's a practice that conditions us to be able to be in the world but not of it, to be able to go out into the world, to participate and play the game of the world without having to contort and conform ourselves to the world. We can treat the world like a game, and in so doing, we don't get attached to these rules, this planning, these objectives, these goals. We dance with them when it's relevant, and we drop them as fast as we can when they're no longer relevant. This is all about how you manage yourself. This isn't about controlling other people, persuading other people to live this way. This is all about how you relate and orient yourself to an uncontrollable world. So let's move into our meditation this morning, the Watcher Observer meditation. Be seated in a comfortable position, taking a few deep, cleansing breaths. And for the next few minutes, you're going to allow your thoughts to emerge, to drift in and out of your awareness. You're not going to chase them. You're not going to attend to them. You're not going to fixate on them. Just allow them, a thought. Maybe it's planning, worry, stress about something you forgot to do, something you need to do. Whatever the thought is, observe it. Let it come into your awareness and just drift by as though it's a cloud in the sky. As a thought comes in, you might experience certain emotions that arise. Allow them to rise and fall, just like waves on the ocean. Don't repress them. Feel the emotion. Maybe it's sadness, maybe it's fear, maybe it's joy, happiness. Feel it, process it, let it move through you, and recenter yourself into the observer-watcher state. Don't fixate on a thought or an emotion. Don't chase it. Don't ruminate on it. Just let it come in and pass out. Let it rise and fall. See if you can get to this place of no-thingness where you have the ability to watch and observe what spontaneously arises from your mind, from your emotions. And then, as spontaneous as it emerges, as watcher observer without attaching yourself to it, it also spontaneously dissipates. And you realize that you are not your thoughts, that you are not your emotions, that they are their own thing. And there's value in them, but by attaching ourselves to them, there's also destructive power in them. So we need to remain the watcher, observer. Let's practice this for the next few minutes, and I'll see you all very soon. and welcome back, everybody. Reconnecting to the world without, to the world of effects, from your inner world, the world within. And perhaps you had a couple of insights that emerged for you during the Watcher-Observer meditation. If you did, make sure you journal and note those down. We don't want to lose our insights. Maybe the experience was challenging for you. Maybe you found it difficult to just observe and watch your emotions and not chase them, not be pulled in by them. That's okay. You don't have to judge yourself. This is a practice. It's not perfect, but you get better and better at doing this over time. You become more adept at it. Maybe you found it easy. Maybe you found it refreshing and enlightening. See if you can stay connected to that energy, that spaciousness as you move in about your day. See if you have the experience of observing and watching the goings-on of your friends, your family, your colleagues, the machinations of their planning and their doing and their worry. See if you can stay a little to the side and distant from it. Participate when necessary, but see if you can just keep that openness, that peace that you may be feeling right now. I'd like to wish all of you a wonderful day, and we will continue tomorrow with our guided neurosculpting meditation.